Well, hi there, this is Ralph Prado, and I wanted to make a video for people that want to create a blog, specifically create one using WordPress and also using cPanel. Now, the reason I'm making this is because I know there are other websites out there and other videos that explain how to create a blog, but they actually leave out some steps that I think have made it very difficult for some people, including myself when I first started. There were little steps that people didn't mention that made it kind of confusing. So I want to lay out for you a step-by-step process for starting from a domain name and then connecting with your web hosting account so that every step is included and you're not wondering why your blog and website is not being displayed correctly. So in order to avoid the confusion, I'm going to include those little steps for you. So here we go. First of all, what you're going to need is a domain name. Because if you don't have a domain name, then the web hosting company that you need the space from is going to give you just an IP number and a long URL, and it'll just make it a lot easier if you have your own specific domain name. So if you don't have one yet, just start off with anything, because you can always use one domain name for your primary location on the web and then add on additional domain names and just include that within your web hosting account. So for example, I search right now for any name you want, and what's available is anynameyouwant.net or .com. This is just an example here. That's what I plugged in into NameSilo. Now, the reason I like to use NameSilo is because of one thing. They give you domain name privacy. That's really important because you don't want people getting too much information about you through the internet. And sometimes when I've used domain names I don't have whose privacy, I'll begin to get letters in the mail because they'll know where I live and my mailing address. And just to avoid that other junk mail, I'll use then the privacy feature that's available for NameSilo, and specifically they give it to you for free. So again, here we are at NameSilo, and I've done already a search for any name you want. And so what you would do is click on the register, check domain, and so for example, you would get on the payment page afterwards. Now, when you're on this page here on NameSilo specifically, one of the things you'll do is you're going to select the privacy setting and put that to who is privacy. That way you get that for free. The other thing you're going to do is select the number of years you want to register the domain for. I usually just set it to 1 and then renew it later if I want. Otherwise, I won't renew it. The other thing is, you'll see this here on Service Link. You don't have to mess around with that, just leave it alone. The other thing that you need to be concerned about later is the name servers. Right now, NameSilo, when you're registering a domain name, if you're not telling it where your web hosting account is stored, they're just going to give you their NameSilo name server addresses. And those can be changed later, or if you want to get hosting from NameSilo, then you'll just use their addresses. Otherwise, you're going to change these later. So it's important to know that you're going to change these at a later time. So after you're done with that, you're going to then scroll down and click on continue and finish your payment. And then you're going to establish an account here with a list of all the domain names that you've purchased from NameSilo. Then afterwards, once your domain appears, by the way, it'll be on the right hand side. You click on Domain Manager. On that screen, you're going to have your entire list of the domain names. So again, initially, you're going to be given 2 name servers or 3 of them that are going to be from NameSilo, and you're going to need to change those. So if you see 3 of them here, my screen is a little bit different because I have the correct name servers on there, but if you see 3 of them, just go ahead and delete them. And again, all you have to do is just click on name server or default name servers. So, all right, we're going to come back to this after a while again. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your web hosting space if you don't have it already. Your web hosting space is space on a computer somewhere, and that computer is connected to the internet. And therefore, anything that's on that computer can be found by other computers that are hosted on the internet as well, that are part of the network. So you'll want to select a service in the very beginning that has cPanel. So it's up to you, but I'm going to provide a link below that's going to give you a directory or list of web hosting companies that I use. And I know there's a lot of very popular names that are out there, but I prefer to stay away from the most popular companies, because what happens is, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, is that the more people you have, more customers a company has, if you're sharing the web hosting space, that creates more of a load on the servers, and therefore the bandwidth that is being shared among people can then start to slow down because you get too many people, and then you'll have a company that you're working with that'll be doing constant updates. And a lot of times these companies, their uptime or the number of times that your website is actually displayed on the internet will go down or will go offline, because it'll just exceed the number, the amount of bandwidth for each account. So in order to avoid that, I've instead chosen to work with very large companies that, yes, they may have a lot of customers, but they have a good balance of customers to accounts. So here's a list of very good companies that you can choose, and I have to just click on one of them, and again, select an account that provides a cPanel account. And you can just start off with the basics and increase your space, the amount of space that you need over time. So after you've gotten your account, you're going to then wait for the web hosting company to send you an email address that's going to include the direct link to your cPanel account. So you're going to then go to your cPanel account, and it's going to look like this. cPanel just stands for control panel, by the way. So don't let this throw you off or get you confused. It's very easy, but the things you're going to look for is your domain section and your the area where it includes the WordPress tools. The WordPress tools or applications make it very easy, or much easier, for you to set up a WordPress blog. And again, that's how we're going to be creating this blog today, through that platform. So the first thing then you're going to do is look for this area here. I'm sorry. The thing we need to do before we create the WordPress blog is you need to add your domain name. So you're going to take the domain name that you registered, and let's say that it's yourdomain.com, for example. What you're going to do is click on Add on Domains, and that's going to take you to this screen here, where you're going to type in the full domain name, including whether it's a .com, a .net, .info, whatever it may be. And as you enter this here, it's going to then populate this third box for you. So if you want, you can actually take that .com off if you have a .net or something like that, and that'll still work. That's what I usually do. I just remove it. That way I know when I go to the folder and I'm looking at it, I don't have to have that .com inside there. Now the next thing you're going to do is then create your password and make a very good password. And honestly, it doesn't matter how difficult it is, because since you're going to have access to cPanel all the time, you can always go back in here and change your domain password. Quite frankly, you'll probably never even have to do that ever again. Because once your domain is hosted on here, you're not going to come back here and have to make changes to your password. So just make it very, very long, very difficult, and type that up somewhere else and come back here and paste it in. But or just use a password generator. That's going to make it very difficult password anyway. Afterwards, then click on Add Domain, and then after that point, your domain will be added to your account. The next thing you're going to do is actually going to wait probably about, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. And once you've got your hosting account, then you're going to go and look for the domain name that you registered. And you're going to click on all your domains. And again, this is your web hosting account, but you're looking at the domains. All right, so again, go back to your hosting account and look for the domain names that are registered with your web hosting account. So for example, here I've got officialsite.com. Now, then what you're going to do is go down to where it says Settings, DNS Zone File, and click on DNS Zone File. Once you click on that, go all the way to the bottom and look for where it says Nameserver. All right, now you're going to have 2 Nameserver addresses. So what you can do is just highlight it, copy it, and then go back to your domain service, like NameSilo, and click on Domain Manager. And here, for example, you would have a list of all your domains, and you're going to click on your domain name. I am not showing you that list just because I don't want to display all my domain names. But you're going to click on your domain name and select to change your name servers. Once you're inside here, then you would click on the box there, and you would put in your correct domain names. And usually, sometimes people will make a mistake and they'll copy and paste in the same name server twice. And I can tell you that if your first name server is 31, then the second name server is most likely going to be 32. I can practically guarantee it because they're always sequential. All right, then afterwards, just enter whatever password it's going to ask for to update your name servers. Now, after you've done that, you're going to probably need to wait, anywhere between, 10 minutes to 30 minutes if you're doing this very quickly. However, if you've registered domain name, let's say yesterday, but you didn't get your web hosting account until today, you may have to wait an hour for changes to take effect. Now, after you've done that, then the next thing you want to do is you're going to go back into your web hosting cPanel account, and then you're going to click on WordPress, this icon right here. So look for web applications and click on WordPress. Then you're going to see something like this. That's going to be the beginning screen to the WordPress app. And you're going to look for install this application. So you're going to click on that. And then you're going to be on the install page. And then you're going to have to click on the domain name that you want to install WordPress to. Now, you can put, let's say that you want to have, this is just an option for you, but you'll have to go back and do some changes. And I don't want to confuse you, but you can have, for example, http://blog dot and then your domain name.com. Now, to do that, you're going to have to add a subdomain. And the way that you do that is just go back to your main screen on cPanel, click on subdomains, and then just enter in the name you want for your subdomain. But in this case here, I'm just going to show you how to do that with a regular domain. And let's say, for example, that you want your WordPress blog to come up when someone types in your domain name, like here, www.ralphprado.com. Then what you would do is you're going to remove what it says there for blog, because normally the standard step is for the program here to include the word blog in there. But as you'll see as I'm typing here, look right here in this section here. Okay, I'm gonna hit the delete or backspace button. You're gonna start seeing this disappear down here. All right. So as I'm doing that, or you're doing it, understand that whatever you type inside here, that's where your WordPress platform is actually going to be stored. So when you give somebody your blog address, if you want the direct link to the blog, then it's going to be whatever your domain is .com/ your blog name. Okay, so this can be anything. It could be fun, it could be dogs, whatever. You can have multiple WordPress installations into different directories. You really only need one, but if you want different directories and different looks, you can do that. So again, all right, let's say that you want it in your primary domain name. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove whatever is inside this box and then scroll down. Now the rest of this you're going to pretty much leave alone. For example, it's going to ask you if you want to accept the license. You're going to leave that because it's going to be saying yes. What I usually do is afterwards, when it says automatic update, I select yes for these, and then this one here for automatic update backup, I leave that alone in case something goes wrong. And then below that, you're going to have a settings section. In your settings section, this is where you're going to input your username. This is going to be the name that you're going to use every time that you log into your WordPress account, so that you can upload your content. Well, so change this to whatever you want. It could be Joe, it could be Mary, anything you want. But just make sure that there are no spaces in your username, and it's all lowercase ideally. Okay. All right. So next thing is you're going to put in your password. Then, so the next thing you want to do is you're going to click on either type it in or click on generate your password. I like to use generate because it makes a really long password, and so what I do is I just copy that and I paste it somewhere else. And then you're going to put in your email address. This is where you're going to get notifications in case, let's say, you forget your password and you need to send yourself a reminder or a reset link. And then you're going to have your title of your blog. You're going to get, and this is not the only place, by the way, where you can change it, so you can leave that alone if you want. And then your website tagline, you can remove it or just leave it alone. Again, you can change it. And then the rest of these, I usually select do not enable two-factor authentication, because then I've got to use my cell phone to get permission to get into the blog, and so I just kind of avoid that most of the time unless it's a special case. And then here, the next question is, you want to limit login attempts? You want to say yes, so leave that alone. And the other thing is, do you want to enable multi-site? Leave that as no, unless you've got some experience with creating multi-sites. Most of the time people don't, so just leave that as no. All right. The next thing is, leave it the settings where it says to automatically manage advanced settings for me, and then click on install. All right. Once you click on install, it's going to run through the process. It's going to then take, I don't know, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. And afterwards, then you'll be able to go to the location of where your login page is at. So for that, you can see it or not up here, but it's always going to be something like your domain name / wp-login.php and or wp-admin / All right, that's where you're going to log in from. So then you're going to input your username, you're going to put in your password, and then you'll be able to start making changes to your blog. Now, actually making changes to your blog, inputting posts, making pages is going to be covered in the next video. So I've gone pretty long on this video so far in just setting this up, but this is how you create your WordPress blog initially. The next thing I'm going to do is learn how to actually use it. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll go further into actually customizing your WordPress blog.